Yes, the recording started.
Oh, no, we're on. All right, let's do this. Welcome everyone to Ascend Live. This is part two of our 8-part series. So excited for this series. I'm so glad you're all here today. This is going to be a great event. So excited to talk about this topic, why your message isn't landing. Because I think we've all experienced that at one time or another. And let's get this chat fired up. So say hello in the chat and also I would like for you to put a one in the chat if you've ever experienced hearing crickets with your messaging, right? You're messaging, you put it out there, and what do you get? Crickets. Well, that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about how you can be seen and heard with your messaging. So let's jump into it. Why your message isn't landing. And it's not a confidence problem, right? No, it isn't. Let me, okay, had to get my chat up so I could see all the action. Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's move on. So I want to say this very clearly at the start that if your message isn't landing, it's not about a lack of confidence, I would say. And it doesn't mean you need to become louder or more persuasive. And this session is about not about fixing you. And nothing here assumes that you're broken or behind. And we're not here to upgrade you or correct you. We're here to give you clearer edges. And that's important. I love this slide. Who here likes to cook? Right? I love to cook. You guys like to cook? Christine's waving her hand. She likes to cook. What's your favorite go-to dish? You could throw that in the chat. Let's get this chat going. I love the engagement. I think it's good for everybody to be active, stay awake, right? Going to keep this exciting and good. We have a lot of good material to go over today, so I don't think we'll have a problem with that. What's your go-to dish for cooking? How about cookies? I love cookies. Does everybody love cookies? Cookies are great, except for when they make your computer crash. Then we don't like cookies, right? You guys get those cookie messages all the time? What about you, Christine? I know Christine loves cookies.
Absolutely, especially the computer kind. No, I don't like them. I clear them all the time. The real cookies, can we clear them? Well, we can eat them.
Gotta clear the cookies, yes. I love real cookies though. So, it's not about upgrading your confidence. Confidence is not the missing ingredient because many confident people still struggle to explain their work clearly. And
Uh-huh.
that's clarity is important. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So that's why we're looking at the messaging instead. If your message hasn't been landing, if people seem interested but don't quite move and they don't buy, can all relate to that, I think. If you find yourself over explaining, second guessing afterward, you're not alone. Actually, this is quite common. What do you think, Christine? Do you think that's pretty common? Have you experienced that?
I've done it. I think we all done it, right? It's really common. You say something and crickets, nobody responds, right?
Right, yeah, and for sure. And this is not a personal flaw, it's not a character issue, and it's not a worthiness issue. Because who here hasn't silently thought, it must be me, or I am not good enough? These thoughts swirl around our minds a lot of times, and we start having that self-doubt creep in. We don't want that. And you know what? It's not something you need to push through harder. And that's exactly what we are teaching here today. in Ascend and in Bloom. Because today we're talking about clarity and containment. Clarity means orientation. Clarity means kindness to yourself and to your clients. We're not talking about clarity as perfection. And containment means clear edges. Containment means knowing what you're responsible for and what you're not responsible for. Your work is asking for that kind of structure. And we know structure is huge. You have to have that clear structure. Because when your message lands, the right people can recognize themselves. And this is big. And you may recognize yourself in our Bloom program, and you may not. You will know by the end of the live event series. And, this isn't for everyone. So if it isn't a fit, that's okay. We're all on our own unique journey and path. Because your message, just like ours, isn't meant to convince everyone. It's meant to let the right people feel like, oh, this is for me. Recognition does more than persuasion ever could.
Mhm.
Excuse me. We're just getting started out and my voice is already getting a little raspy. I think I've been doing so many talks lately. How you doing over there, Christine's chat going? Everything good?
Oh, yes, I love everybody are running the chat. Don't worry about it. You do your thing. You do it amazing. And everybody that has a question, type it in the chat. At least I can keep them for later when the presentation is finished because Gary will talk about everything.
Yes, exactly. All right. I just wanted to hear from you, Christine. I like to have you chime in whenever possible. Of course, it's always good to have that back and forth, I think.
A great team. That's the fun of it.
Absolutely. So by now you realize that in all truth, you don't need to sell harder. You just need to explain cleaner, right? This is what we're talking about. So think about this for a minute. Selling harder usually adds pressure. And that's not what we want. We don't want pressure. We're trying to remove as much friction as possible. And explaining cleaner creates relief from that pressure. And this is what we want. We want people to feel at ease, comfortable with our messaging. And you notice today is about removing friction, not adding force. I think this is crucial. Does anyone here want more force or friction? Probably not, right? Or would you rather have more relief and less friction? This is what we're after. Type
Yeah, I
in,
typed it in the chat. I did that.
oh, awesome. So you're already ahead of me, Christine. I love it. You're always on top of it. So great. We make
I
such a
I
great
asked
team.
them to type force or relief in the chat to tell us what they prefer, and we already got a relief one. That's what I like better. Relief again. Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, this is what we're after. Yes, exactly.
Another relief. Yes.
So I know everybody in this group here is highly skilled, right? You hold real expertise. You've done the work internally and externally. Most of you for many years. I know Christine and I have been at it for many, many years.
Mhm.
And what we experience here is not beginner confusion, right? We've all been at this for a long time. Because when you work with nuance and complexity, your work doesn't fit neatly into sound bites. You're working with technology, systems, and human complexity. That's a strength. but it comes with challenges. Lots of challenges. I mean, that's part of the journey, entrepreneurship. It's constant challenges all the time that you have to work through. But I think that's the fun and exciting part because you actually are learning and growing. And I know Christine and I have a lot of fun doing what we're doing, right? Christine, we laugh and we keep it light.
Absolutely, because when you're an entrepreneur, it's a hard journey, and some days nothing seems to work, and it can be so frustrating. Or you have a really good prospect. Yeah, they're interested, but they just don't buy, and it's frustrating. They said they would benefit from my services, and everybody here has great services. So type in the chat, does it ever happen to you? What do you do when it happens? And I saw Michael put in capitals. That means you're screaming. I love high pressure selling. The higher pressure, the better. Off in the pressure cooker, Michael. Uh, does it help to lose weight to go to do that? Maybe I should try it then.
That's funny, right? Give me more pressure, more friction, right?
Yeah. I
That's
like that,
funny.
Peggy. Mikey and I have lots of laughs, even during the hard times. And the same with Gary and I. And it's helpful to have somebody on your team. And that's why we have the forum and the Bloom program, because if you don't have a business partner yet, it's helpful to have somebody to talk to, somebody sometimes that understands, right?
Oh yeah, that's why we do what we do. And we want to provide that support for all those that are out there on by themselves on that island. I mean, that the support is crucial to everything we do, and that's what we provide here in our community. So
And
that's
Gary, I
something to
just
be
want to
looking for.
mention, Cherry put in the chat, I just keep nurturing them. You never know when they will be ready. And that is completely true. Absolutely.
Yes,
And
that is perfect, Cherry. Thank you
yeah,
so much. And all these
yes,
things
it
we talked about, that's
happens.
what makes often that's what why messaging feels so hard, right? Um, Regular messaging can feel reductive or too simple when your work is deep. And then you try to include everything, and orientation gets lost, and confusion sets in, and that's
Mm.
never good. And the reason for all this is
Three
there are
patterns, Gary.
three
Three
patterns we want to talk
patterns.
about. Yeah, thank you. I couldn't spit it out. I was having like a little brain moment there.
We
Let's
call that
talk
a
about
brain freeze. I have that
brain
all the
freeze.
time.
Right, brain freeze. We are expecting rain in Southern California, which is really rare, so maybe that threw me for a loop. Um, Pattern one, over explaining, right? This is so easy to do. Over explaining usually comes from caring too much. Christine, you ever over explain?
All the time. I have to consciously pull myself back because my tendency is to share everything I know because I know a lot and I want to share it. And that's why I throw up sometimes on people. That's how it feels to them. And it took me a long time to realize what I'm really doing is pushing them away because it's too much too fast.
Right, the old fire hose, right? And you don't want
Mhm.
to be misunderstood. So you think, what do I need to do to not be misunderstood? Oh, explain more, give them more, give them more, 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 more. And that's not the case. And
Gary,
this
you just got a
misrepresents your
wonderful
message. It's too
Gary, you
much
just got
noise.
a wonderful compliment. Great image. For those
Oh,
that have a question how Gary did it, we did it, of course, in our Easy AI system by just scraping part of the presentation in the image creator, and that's what it came out. So it works. Less is more. Yes, thank you. You're right.
absolutely,
Passion.
yes. Less is
Yes.
more. Yeah, and this is kind
Passion
of a
leads
hard
to
pattern to break. I mean, this takes practice, and you really have to be intentional about what you're doing and saying out there because we tend to say too much. Yeah.
zip
So
it.
you don't want them to be misunderstood, but you explain so much that it has the opposite effect, right? And that's not what we want. So more words do not create more clarity. We know that. And clarity isn't about volume, it's about sequence and emphasis. Figuratively speaking, people need fewer doors, not more hallways. And here's another great image. You see all these doors, right? This long hallway full of doors. We need to give them a clear path forward. That's what they're looking for, clarity. So, Christine, how do we do that in our 5D wellness community?
Yeah, that's a good question, Gary. Thanks for asking. And we are still struggling with the right sequencing. And if you're on this call, we ask for your input and support in that because we are building, we are getting better, just like everybody. That's a human journey. And we absolutely love what we are doing, building for others and for us, of course, too. And we have a path laid out, and it is a wonderful path, we think. It is from the free forum with a low entry point that takes people away from the busyness on Instagram, Facebook, constant change of pixels. It's just crazy out there, right? And we take them from there and then in the calm form where they go at their pace. And whenever they feel fit, they can always talk with me. There's a conversation thread, there's the events, and we switched off many notifications. We just created a video how to switch off them on your side if you don't want to get more than so many notifications or not for everything. We did too much too fast, exactly what Gary is just pointing out. I tend to do that, so I apologize if I did that to you because I do that still sometimes. Please tell me because I'm learning, just like we all do as humans. So from there, we'll take them to the Bloom Starter, which is a low-cost startup plan with templated business in our Go High Level in our business in the box Go High Level ecosystem. From there, it's simple. If they have more interest, they need more, then we move them into the Bloom Builder. This is for more experienced entrepreneurs that want more, including webinars, and we train them to everything. We've done it. It's not easy, but it can all be done. And those who are ready, we move them into the Mentor channel. And the Mentor channel is for those that are ready to seriously grow their business. They get everything and the support with it. That's a lot. And it's not for everybody.
Good point, Christine. Yeah, and it's taken us years to get here, and that's why we teach what we're teaching these days, because I think we can help shorten that for you. You don't have to go through all the challenges that we went through because we've discovered what works and the best way to get there, and I think the shortest way to get there. I mean, we found the best tools, and we can save you a lot of time and effort there. And if anybody needs help creating that clear path for their future clients, we can continue this conversation in the 5D Wellness Forum. That's what's great about these events. After the event, we can all get together in the forum, and that's where the replay is going to be. And we can continue the discussion if there's people that have questions. And we might not have a lot of time for questions at the end. I don't know. We're trying to get through this. So I'm trying to keep it moving fairly quickly because there is a lot to cover today.
And I think what I love too, it's upward and downward mobility. And Peggy, she's our mentorship level client. And I love what you said. Thank you so much. I have to read it, Peggy. You are such a wonderful person. We were doing so much and going nowhere. And Peggy, you are highly, highly qualified. And so is Mikey. And many of our members are just like us, highly qualified and frustrated, right? Learning from us has been a lifesaver, you say. Thank you, Peggy. And it's for you. Yeah, definitely. You are ready. I know that. And you'll go far now.
Yes, it's awesome. Thank you all for participating in the chat. I love that.
Mm.
Let's jump into pattern number two, undernaming. Sometimes we don't over-explain, we actually go the opposite direction. We stay vague to avoid excluding anyone. Has anyone ever done that? You probably all have, right? Yeah, I see some nodding. Okay, okay, yeah, that's pretty common. But you know what? Safety language can become fog, especially in a time when your people are craving clarity. So That's important because vague, abstract language doesn't give people a place to land. So you see this guy above the clouds up here. It lets them float in the air like this paraglider here in the image, right? Another perfect image. I actually loved creating these images in our system. It was pretty fun to put this presentation together, and I was trying to capture images that really spoke to what we're talking about. And I think this is a good one. You don't want people out there floating around with no place to land. Words like holistic or integrative seem safe, and we all use them all the time, right? But by themselves, they don't tell people where they belong. True orientation requires being specific. The more specific, the better. That provides that clarity that we're talking about. Pattern three, we call that the audience collapse. That means that your audience collapses into confused inertia. Audience collapse happens when you speak to everyone you can help. And this happens often. Potential clients, peers, collaborators, skeptics, all at once. That tends to create more noise. And in the end, no one knows where they fit. This creates confusion and there will be no future clients with that. We do not want to fall into that pattern. Because when you speak to everyone, people are quietly wondering, is this really for me? And if that's unclear, they pause. And when they pause, you tend to lose them, right? They do nothing. And that pause is often misread as disinterest.
Yeah, I've done that all the time. I thought, oh, well, they don't react. They must be not interested. And the truth is, they didn't know. It wasn't clear. I spoke too generally. I spoke to everyone. It's the same when you have a TV advertising. It's for everybody, really, and then it's nobody. Unless it's at the Super Bowl, then they know the audience better. But it's $10,000 a second, so we don't do
Oh
that.
my gosh, probably 10 million by now. I know it's in the millions per second. Yeah, that's crazy. And that's why
Yeah.
all the advertisers want to be there, right? Because they have so many eyeballs.
Mm.
And then you think it's a communication problem, but that isn't
Mm.
true at all. Most of you communicate beautifully. And I know this. I've talked to all of you here, I'm pretty sure. And, everybody communicates so well. But this isn't about articulation or charisma. It's about structure. And we talk about that a lot, structure. And it's a containment problem. Your work needs clear edges. You don't want to shrink it, but to hold it. Containment makes depth accessible.
Oh my God, Gary, when you told me that the first time, and I saw this beautiful image also done by our system, I can't believe it. It's a beautiful image. And when you told me that clearer edges, containment makes death, it's, oh my God, I said, that was my problem. I said too much to everybody.
Right, and that happens, and it's so easy to do. I think we've all done it, I'm sure, right? We've all done it. We've all turned that fire hose on and just blasted people right out. And then we're like, what happened? Where'd they go? Why are they not here? Why aren't they signing up? Well, they can't even really digest everything we throw at them. And then it just becomes a bunch of noise and fog and nothing's clear. So you pretty much lose them at that point. And when you lose them, it's very hard to get them
But
back if you can.
and for me, I get excited. I'm so excited. I want to share it. I want to let them know there is hope, there is help. You can do it. And I overdo it. There you go. Gary is my helper. I shouldn't say savior.
Well,
That's
we're
reserved for
learning
us.
together, and I feel like we are. we're in this moment of clarity right now where everything is really starting to open up. I mean, I'm seeing so clearly now. It's like I got a new pair of glasses and I'm like,
Mm,
whoa, I can see again, right? Everything's crisp and bright and I can see those edges.
mm.
And that's important. And we've all noticed that, especially our body practitioners, your body knows, you feel it.
Mm.
Anyone here working with somatic methods or energy? I know we have a lot that are, because when we meet with you guys and we talk about these things.
How about our havening practitioner? I'm one. We actually have two or three trainers now in our system. That is amazing. I love havening. Great technique. There's others. If you do another
Oh yeah,
one,
I love havening too. And as you know, your body knows first, right? That's what the slide's talking about here. Your body knows first. You feel it, and the energy shifts when it does. And before your mind questions your message, your body reacts. There's often a signal there worth listening to. And
Mhm.
many of us tend to override that signal, and that's the problem. We
Mhm.
really need to be connected and in tune with what we're feeling because that'll really give us some direction there. And we know when your nervous system's on edge, right? You can feel it. People start feeling anxious or uneasy. Go
Tension
on.
headaches.
Yeah, we're trying to make things smoother and easier and more comfortable for people. And what we notice can often be felt as tightness, as rushing, as justifying. Notice if any of these feel familiar. I think we've all experienced that. I know I have. Type a one in the chat if you've felt that before, if you felt that in your body. And maybe you were not acknowledging it, you were tuning it out. But it's important when you start feeling any type of way, uneasiness. I think that's a good time to reflect and understand why you're feeling that way. Because when you're on the right path and you're doing the right things, you feel good about what you're doing. And that makes a big difference. I know I've had those moments where I've felt like I was being pulled all over the place. And, that's not a good feeling. And when you get that clarity and things are structured right and you get the right systems in place, things settle down and feel good. You just feel good. It feels right. And, that information is useful, not problematic. I think it's important to listen to your body. And all those feelings aren't signs of insecurity. It's not weakness. It's not imposter syndrome. We hear that a lot, right? That's always out there. People are always throwing that around. And what it
Makes us
is,
feel bad, right? I don't want to be called an imposter.
no, no. And I know, nobody here should feel that way. Everybody here is brilliant. I mean, I've talked to all of you guys and I see you guys are all doing these great things. And your message needs to get out there. And that's why we're working on messaging today, because we want you to be seen, heard, and we want to spread this movement because people need what we're doing, right? And that's why we're in wellness, is to help people uh, feel better, improve their quality of life with whatever we're offering.
Mm.
And, these things are the reason you feel these things is often your system's responding to unclear boundaries because that's your nervous system seeking safety, as it should, right? Your nervous system just wants to know, am I safe here? And clear messaging answers that question for you and for your future clients. That's important. So, from brain science, we know that clarity is a regulatory signal. And Christine's a brain and mental health expert, so she knows this well. And clarity tells your body it can settle. And that's why clarity is so important, right? We want to just settle, be calm, and really see clearly. It tells others what they're stepping into, and that's why it matters beyond marketing. And for those that enter the 5D Wellness Forum through the front porch, you will notice how we designed it to achieve exactly that. Christine, why don't you add the link to the chat box? Could you do that for me, please? You already have it.
Absolutely,
You're
I
always usually
will.
one step ahead of me, so maybe you already did.
I did it before, but I will do it again. And I have two links here, and those are short links. Feel free to share the join link on top. And the other one below is for those that are already members. This is a short, easy to remember link that you can bookmark to get in. So you know how to get home, as we call it, to the
I
forum.
love that. Yeah, that sounded great. And people need to know exactly where they end and where they begin. And
Mhm.
this is what clarity communicates underneath the words. It creates distinction without separation. And that's deeply regulating. So important. So, what we're giving you here today is a framework, not just a script. And you don't need to you don't need to memorize anything today. This is something you can return to inside the Ascend studio in the free 5D Wellness Forum, right? We've talked about that plenty. And I hope you guys are all in the 5D Forum. We're building a great community there, and that's like the main hub. So that's really where you want to be. And there you can find the worksheet and the recording from today's event and all the others of this series. This is an 8-part series, so we're on number 2. So those will all be housed in the community forum. So you always have a structure that grows with you. So here's the framework. It's broken down for you to make it super clear. You know, we're trying to be as clear as possible, remove that friction and pressure like we've been talking about. And we always start with function, not just how you do it, but the really important thing is what changes for your prospects because you are involved, right? You make the difference. And we always emphasize function, not the feature. People don't orient themselves through your credentials. They orient through outcomes, through relief, through possibility. Possibility is big. It's so huge. I love this image too, how it separated those things there. It's pretty cool. So always emphasize this. What becomes easier after working with you? This is the message we want to bring forth, right? This is the question to sit with. Not everything you offer, just the primary shift. Less is often more here. And we hear that a lot, but it's so true. I think we have to repeat that so it really sinks in because I know it took a long time for me to understand that less is more and not turn that fire hose on. You know, I tend to want to give everybody everything all at once. I mean, I'm so excited about what we talk about, and I just want to shower it on everybody. But yeah, it's important. Less is often more. And let's do an exercise here. I think this is a perfect time for that. Reflect for a moment on the main shift your clients experience when they work with you. If you want to, you can jot it down in the chat. I think this is an important one.
Just want to quickly acknowledge that we have a question here. So much marketing advice says to agitate the prospect's pain. And there's a space for that to do it the right way, but not all the time. And we'll talk about that in a later meeting when it comes to enrollment.
Yeah, I think that's important because I know all the experts and gurus tell you they all have the same common tactics. And I call those tactics because a lot of times um, I think they're they can be manipulative, right? And I think that and the marketing community and sales community seems to be okay with that. And this is one thing Christine and I wanted to do differently. We're trying to change that whole concept of the pushy, pressure-filled, high friction type of marketing and sales. I think there's a more ethical way to do marketing and sales, and that's what we're trying to bring forth with everything we do. I think it can be more service-based, especially in wellness. I mean, we're here to provide service to our clients. We're trying to help them transform their lives, solve a problem that they're having. And I don't think that has to be pushy or trick them into buying. I like to just offer good, valuable um, content, methods, and everything we do should be aimed at serving them. So let's talk about part two. Who is this for? And this is not just about demographics or niches. It's about resonance. Resonance is key. It's so important. And here's the question to ask yourself. Who tends to exhale when they hear you? Again, reflect for a moment about this and type it in the chat. This is, people remember the way you make them feel, right? And we want people to feel good after connecting with us. And that's the whole goal. That's why we do what we're doing. So here we are, recognition versus targeting. You're not aiming at people trying to hunt them down, right? This is what I was just talking about. I don't like hunting people down or chasing people. I think if you provide a great service, the people will come. You build it, they will come, right? You put it out there. You want to provide value, and that attracts people in naturally, organically. I think, we like that organic approach. You're inviting recognition. You want people to feel like, ah, there she is again. So good to see them. That's how you want people to feel, right? When you join them on a Zoom, like, oh, I'm so happy to see this person again. I just feel so good after these meetings. There's a big ethical difference there. And I think that's huge and that's important. And that's what we want, especially in the wellness space. I think this is different from a lot of other businesses out there where, that type of marketing and sales goes a long way with a lot of the other businesses. But we're more service based. We're here to be helpful and add value to people's lives. So I think that's important. And don't forget, sometimes you have to exclude certain people. And that's okay. You shouldn't feel bad about that. Exclusion's not rejection. It's actually care. Naming who it's not for is just as important as who it is for. It's an act of respect, I would say. It saves time, energy, and disappointment. The right people feel safer when you do this. So let's jump into part three. Why what you do matters. And this isn't about urgency or even fear. And those are some of the tactics I was talking about earlier. People like to use urgency, fear, scarcity to kind of poke and prod people into buying. That's not what we want. It's more about honesty, about naming the real cost of staying the same. That's huge, right? People don't want to stay the same. That's why they even are interacting with you or reached out to you because they want change. They need change. They're craving change and clarity in their life. And without fear means without pressure, because ethical messaging doesn't force action. We don't want to force anything. It simply tells the truth and lets adults decide, right?
We got a very good comment here. Somebody said, I can't stand the manufactured urgency in so much marketing. It's designed to trigger insecurity, lack, and fear. You are right. And that's why we decided not to do that. I've done it in the past, and it was a wrong thing to do. I've done a lot of things that I wouldn't do again, and I've stopped doing. And I think that's part of it, to stop doing things that you know is hurting your nervous system and that of your prospects, although some experts still recommend it. And I think that's hard sometimes because it does work. If you tell you if you don't do it now, it's gone forever. And then 2 weeks later, you see the same offer again. They don't believe you anymore, right? It's a crying wolf. You don't do that.
You're
And
right, and
I,
you're
and
right. Most of the experts do say that, and
yeah,
we've done that before too, and that doesn't feel good. And this goes back to what we were saying earlier about your body, listening to your
mhm,
body, and you can feel that it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. That's not something you want to do. So that's why we're doing things differently here, and
mm,
we're going to continue to do it. It might be the longer, slower path, but it is more sustainable and
yeah.
it feels better. And we want to feel
Yeah.
good about what we're doing. Business should feel good. It doesn't have to feel overly stressed and
Yeah.
uh, it doesn't have to be frustrating and challenging all the time. It can feel good. You can do it a different way.
And I want to say one thing. There is an ethical way for, and then place for scarcity and urgency. For example, if you have a 12-week program that starts on the so-and-so date, well, if they don't join on time, they miss out. And the same uh, capacity. If you only have 5 spaces, otherwise you're overwhelmed and you don't want to hire 15 people and go through all that hassle, then there is a natural limit of what you can offer. And that is honest and ethical. So there's a big difference between manufacturing it, and it's not true, manu manipulative and real. Yeah, it's fine when it's authentic, right? We understand that. We can only do so much. For example, Gary and I, we only can take 2 or 3 real high ticket clients that we help with everything. That's just it.
Yep.
Otherwise, we would have to hire and go through that. We don't want to do that. And many of you don't want to hire and build a real big, large concern business like the big shots do, right?
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Christine.
And I
So
think it's
finally,
important.
you,
Yeah, okay, sorry, Gary. I go on and on. I should stop. I stop. Not important now.
all right. So finally, you can relax and stop trying to sound impressive. You've learned and know by now that impressive language often creates distance, the opposite of what we're trying to do. And great language creates closeness. And you're allowed to choose the latter here. And you want to, actually. I think that's important. So when you provide clarity, it means orientation. Your clients do not feel compressed. And you don't have to say less. You just have to say it in the right order. Orientation comes first. And so let's practice this together. And even if you've done it before, this is so important. We never get a 100% perfect version, right? Because everything flows. And this statement should involve as you involve. And what we're talking about here is that elevator pitch. We've all heard about that elevator pitch, right? So if anybody wants to share that in the chat, their elevator pitch. And this is something that's fluid and always changing because we're always changing And a lot of times your offer will shift and change as well. And each time that happens, you have to have that elevator pitch ready.
Now we should ask, anybody here knows where the name comes from?
What elevator pitch?
Why is it called? Don't answer, Gary. I know you know. That's our audience. If you never thought about it, think about it. Why is it called elevator pitch? I know Gary will give the answer after, so don't feel enticed if you don't. You don't have to admit it. That's fine. I just love the
That's,
name. I'm a name person. Go for it.
I mean, it's an important one. How many times are you out and about and, somebody asks you, what do you do? And, you should have something boom, 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 ready. 30 seconds or less. Be able to say something that piques their interest, you know? You want them to ask, how do you do that? And that's a good sign when people ask, how do you do that?
Gary, I love it. We have smart people here. They give us the answer. Have to say it in the time it takes the elevator to go up one floor. Stuck in an elevator, you have less than a minute, less than 30 seconds even. One floor is the ideal time. Time to ride the elevator. Exactly. Oh my God, you're so amazing. Now,
Perfect. That's awesome. Yeah, I love it.
but
We
can
have
you
such
do
great
that?
people.
That's the hardest part is to do that. And I still struggle with
Yep.
that.
Yeah, and you want to nail it. You want to have that down too, and it should feel natural and just flow. I mean, I think we're all excited to talk about what we do. So you just want to have it in a nice brief statement that just flows easily off the tongue and draws people in. They want to know more.
So if you want to share your statement in the chat, think about it for a second. For 30 seconds, the elevator time. Imagine you
Right,
just
yeah,
go in
exactly.
and Gary and I meet you there. So you have exactly 30 seconds. Let's look on the phone to put it in the chat. Now, if that's not pressure, I don't know what is. So take your time, Gary. I just have fun.
Christine's having a lot of fun. Yeah, we laugh a lot, which is good. It feels good. I love it.
Oh, she has
Sometimes
it
we're cracking
ready.
up.
Love that one, Jerry. Thank you so much. Well, it's excellent. Yes.
And as you think about explaining your work, notice where does effort or tension show up?
Mhm.
And that I think when you notice that, that's how you'll know if your elevator pitch is where it needs to be. It should feel good and it should just flow naturally.
We need
Shouldn't
to
be
be
any
proud
tension.
of sharing it. Proud and always
Yeah, there
end with
shouldn't
it.
be any tension there. And it should you should have that enthusiasm about it, right?
Mm.
I think enthusiasm is huge. Be
Okay.
excited.
Those are very interesting statements and in the chat. And I would love to invite you to continue the conversation in the community because some of them I can immediately see they are not tight enough. They are not addressing a specific audience, just what Gary said before. And we love to help you make it tighter, to make very clear that the right prospect is so called upon pushing that critical button opt in or contact or book a call that they can't help themselves. It magnetically attracts them.
Yeah, I think, and you can use AI too to help you really tighten it
Mhm.
up. So kind of get the gist of what you want to say and then have AI really tighten it up for you because AI is really good at language. And, if you give it what you want to say and say, tighten this up, shorten this, you'll be able to craft a really good, like one-liner that just is perfect. And I think that's a good way to do it.
Gary, that's a really good question. And since we have wonderful people here, let me just ask you, who here would be interested to get an event or something teaching you how to talk to AI in a way that you get the results you're looking for and not a lot of crap, which you can get too. If you please, okay. Gary, we put that on our to-do list because maybe we'll do Accent 9 about that because we have become masters in that, not just in our system, but generally, even free chatty can give you a lot of crap and a lot of good stuff. Got a lot of
Yeah,
yeses for that one, Gary. That's a good sign. Yeah, we want to do that.
awesome.
So stay tuned, come in the forum. We'll do an announcement once it's ready and we'll let you have it. And in the beginning, what we always do, give it away for free. Then when it's so polished that it can get better, which is never, we might put a price on some of it or all of it if we need to, because we all need to eat, right? We all need to have a house or.
Yeah. And I think this is an important question here.
Mhm.
Where do you feel the urge to prove, explain, or justify what you're saying?
Mhm. Oh, wow, I do that all the time.
And your message doesn't need to carry your entire business. Your message doesn't need to hold everything you do, right? That's back to over explaining again. It only
Mm.
needs to open one door, the one door that people, the right people, right, can recognize and choose freely. And this is how you achieve the famous message, media, market alignment. That is so big. Message, media, market alignment. That's what we're after. You bring all those together, then you're just humming. So if you're not already in the 5D wellness community, you we'd like you to join the forum and continue this conversation and other great conversations like this. We share them all in the forum there, and it's a great place to gather, and it's a great place to interact with all of our great members of this community. And I think it's a fun place to be too. There's a lot of good stuff there, so definitely check it out if you haven't been in there. And we have a QR code here. You can take out your phone and see if make sure that works, Christine. Can you check it on your
Let
phone,
me
make
try
sure it works
it.
for
I
everybody?
always try our QR codes. By the
Nothing
way,
worse than a QR code that doesn't take you anywhere. Right?
our business in a box system, the QR codes are included in the system. You get enough. You can do some like this. This has been done in that system. You definitely can do that. Oh, we got people joining us. It's wonderful. I'm happy for you to join us, and we'll let
Yeah.
you in.
And there's always a better way to do things. You don't have to keep grinding and hustling. You know, you can do things in a way that respects your energy, serves your clients deeply, and build something that lasts. And I think that's important. We're trying to build something sustainable, long term. So take a breath, relax, and believe that you are exactly where you need to be. And we are all here together and we're all doing the same thing, different ways for different reasons. But we can all help each other and share the best practices that make things better and easier for us, more manageable. That's what we want. Want things to be smooth in your business. We want to enjoy doing business and not dread it. That's a quick path to burnout and ultimately quitting and not having a business. And nobody wants that.
You know,
So
Gary, we got two people that I just noticed on my phone, and I let them in our community. And I'm grateful for every one of them, and I know you do too. Thank you. We are committed.
absolutely.
Peggy says that we
So
are
we're
absolutely
down to the
committed.
last 3 minutes, a few minutes here. So that's it for today. Thank you again for being here. I mean, this was awesome. I hope you found some value in this presentation, in this conversation, and you're welcome to continue exploring this in the 5D wellness community. Continue the conversation here only if and when it feels aligned. Alignment's important. That's what we want. Want people to feel good about what they're doing. There's no urgency, no expectation. Your work deserves steadiness, not pressure. Take what fits and leave the rest. So thank you again for being here and take care, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.
Hi.